Hi stamping friends, it's Sandy from Stamped Impression. Today we're going to look at some of the cutting tools that Stampin' Up! Offers. And I'm just warning you, I have my camera set a little bit higher than usual, so yeah, you see the legs of my tripods. Sorry about that, but I wanted you to see this whole device at one time. The two main cutting tools that I use every time I make cards are the paper trimmer, which is this, and my paper snips. The snips are a pair of scissors that have a nice short blade, so it's really good for intricate cutting. They're very sharp, and they have a nice little case to cover them, so when they're not in use, you don't have a chance of cutting yourself. No, these little charms do not come with them. Many years ago, my upline gave us each charms as a gift, so that, and everyone's charms were different, so that when we're at a meeting, you knew which one was yours, so that you didn't walk away with someone's scissors. Anyways, you don't have to use the Stampin' Up! Cutting tools. You can use a hobby blade, you could use your own scissors. I really like these tools, and I'm going to talk about them very briefly. The scissors, the paper snips, you know what scissors are for. They're great for cutting ribbon, they're great for cutting shapes. I'm not a very good cutter when it comes to straight lines, even if I have a penciled line to follow, but many are. If you want, you could also use a hobby blade and a straight edge to cut some cardstock if you need long lines. So when you cut your cardstock to work on, you can use that. I'm going to just show you quickly how the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer works. There are two blades in it. The dark one is a cutting blade, and the light one is scoring. So scoring is when, you make a card, and I always tell you to score it halfway, which I'm not measuring here, and you just go back and forth. It leaves a little dent, and then you can easily fold along that dent to get a nice crisp edge on your fold. That's what scoring is for. The cutting is different. Well, obviously it's for cutting. So let me tell you a couple of good points about this device. First of all, the measurements are at the top and the bottom. I like to work with my cutting at the bottom and my scoring at the top. Everyone's different. What I do there is if I'm cutting something that's up to 4.5 inches, I will often cut it at the bottom. This blade, I mean, think about it. It's a blade like this, so there's two sides, this side and the top side and the bottom side. You want to use it equally. You don't only want to cut in one direction because you'll get a little bit more life out of your blade. So if I'm going to cut something at, say, 5 inches, I see the 5-inch marker there, and I put this cardstock even with the line. There's a ledge here, and you just butt it against that ledge, and just a nice smooth cut. Do not press down, do not jag it through, just do it smoothly, and you get a nice sharp cut. If I'm doing a smaller size, I'll do it on this end. Let me tell you one of the things that's really great about this. Besides the line, that's the measurement, if you see when you get your cardstock along there, there is a line all the way up. So that lets you know you're really cutting at a right angle. So that's nice for accurate cutting, because we all want to be accurate. All right, so that's that. There's a ledge here too, and you have these little ledges. So if you want to cut something that's only 3/4 of an inch thick, you could do it here on this side. Oops. At 3/4 of an inch and cut along there. This long trough is where the blade goes. Or you could put it at 3/4 of an inch on that side, whichever makes you more comfortable. It's strictly a matter of preference. Also, when I cut, even if I go back and forth, I always start by drawing the blade towards the ledge where the paper or the cardstock is sitting, rather than away from it, so that I don't push it away, that I keep it nice and close. And you can see I have a bit of a flake here. I can just cut it off. One of the things I like to do is I just rub my fingers to make sure it's always nice and smooth. If you're cutting something a little bit bigger, just want to say this arm pulls out. So, whoops, I just hit that with my head. So you just pull it out easily, which I always do. And you can see there it goes all the way up to 17 inches. So if you're cutting a piece of cardstock and you want it to be 10 inches long, you just put it along the marker for 10, butt it against that ledge just to make sure it stays secure and straight, and cut it. Often I will just leave this open so I have my options open, but here on the video there isn't a lot of room, so that's it. For a lot of the cards that I make at Christmas time are 5 by 7 or 10 by 7 before they're folded, so that's how they would be cut. What else can I tell you about this that makes it very cool? I guess that's the main thing. It kind of locks into place, so to lift it, I usually have a finger on either side. See, this is what I mean about it being too long for this work area. Actually, let's just hold it this way so you can see it. So I have a finger at either side because all these grooves kind of lock it in place so that you don't easily cut yourself. To change the blade, let me just put this back in. Let's see if I can show this a little bit. The plastic has a bit of a bigger groove right there, just about the 12-inch mark. So what I would do is bring this up to there and just find the sweet spot and lift it out to put the new blade in. Again, just put it in and slide. Whoops! And I don't have it in. You can see it's only halfway in. There. You could just feel it click. And it's nice and smooth and quiet. So those are the tools I use the most. The Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer and the Stampin' Up! Paper snips. Hope this answers some of your questions. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up at the bottom. And that's it. Send any questions my way. Thank you and have a great day.